Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to News Plus, one of the most viewed television broadcasting news analysis program that has been received amazing comments across Africa. As you all know, every Tuesday we're live at 1 p.m. African time with our viewers. And today there are amazing new developments happening from Baku as well as from United States. We have very important people that we will host. Today, I have a human rights defender, a phenomenal gentleman, Ahmad Shahidov, who is joining us from Baku, Azerbaijan. He is the director of the Azerbaijan Institute for Democracy and Human Rights. Welcome, Ahmad Shahidov. Honored to have you today.
Good evening. I greet you from Baku, Azerbaijan.
Thank you for your time. I want to get right into first, you have been doing amazing work, but for our viewers shortly, who is Ahmad Shahidov and what is the Azerbaijan Institute for Democracy and Human Rights doing?
Yes, I greet you again from Baku. I'm a human rights defender. I'm the head of Azerbaijan Institute for Democracy and Human Rights since 2014, and we are dealing with human rights and democratic issue in Azerbaijan in the whole South Caucasus region. So we defend the rights of the people, we protect the rights of our citizens and everyone who needs our help.
Thank you. And our goal is really today to cover every angle of the current situation in Nagorno-Karabakh. And first of all, congratulations to every person in the world, in the name of democracy, in the name of human rights, in the name of the UN resolutions. Now, the Nagorno-Karabakh has been liberated. First of all, I want to congratulate every person around the world who is for human rights and who is for democracy.
Thank you so much, Yavuz Bey. I also join your congratulations, and I congratulate all Azerbaijani people, all citizens of Turkey, and all citizens across the world who stand for human rights, for justice, and the implementation of UN Security Council resolutions.
We understand with the adventurous attitude of Pashinyan, now he's been actually penalized by his very own people. There have been really amazing stories coming out, or unfortunate stories coming out, one way or another. We still don't know if the foreign minister actually has resigned or he has asked that person to leave. And as we know, there have been lots of sacking events, lots of turbulations happening inside Yerevan. So I want to get your feedback on why did we come to this situation? Why did we wait 30 years? And what is the current situation right now on the ground? This is very important, ladies and gentlemen, because for many who are viewing us from Africa, as you all know, this is another part of the world, and Russia, after the Soviet communist regime, there have been new republics came out, and Armenia and Azerbaijan are two republics who came out after the, Cold War ended. And that's why we are asking now our beautiful friend and colleague, the human rights defender Ahmad Shahidov, the current situation right now, what is going on the ground in Nagorno-Karabakh?
Yes, the current situation, let me briefly describe the latest development on the region. As you know, the second stage of the war on the Nagorno-Karabakh front, which began on September 27, ended with the victory of the Republic of Azerbaijan. And with this victory was expected by the people of Azerbaijan, because Azerbaijan has been fighting for many years in different fields, in political arena, in battlefield, and we lost Nagorno-Karabakh and 7 surrounding regions in the early 1990s, but for the past almost 30 years we have never given up on such a struggle, because in addition to being historically our lands, these territories are also internationally recognized as Azerbaijani lands. And after the first ceasefire agreement signed in May 1994, Azerbaijan raised its rightful voice on all international platforms, raised our voice against Armenia's policy of aggression, and we wanted the world community, all countries in the world, not to remain silent about this occupation, about this aggression. And we demanded the implementation of 4 UN Security Council resolutions. We wanted the decisions of the Council of Europe, the OSCE, and other international organizations to be respected, to be implemented. However, Armenia was determined to continue the occupation, and the world turned a blind eye to it. At the same time, Azerbaijan continued to strengthen its economy and army. And in recent years, the Azerbaijani army has become one of the strongest armies, not only in the region, not only in the South Caucasus, but also in the world. Of course, Brazil and Turkey also supported us in this issue. Turkey has provided us with all the necessary support over the past years, and at the same time, Armenia continued its provocations on the front line and on the border between the two countries, between Armenia and Azerbaijan. And the last such provocation was repeated on Sunday, September 27th. And in response to these provocations, the Azerbaijani army launched a very successful large-scale counter-offensive military operations. And one after another, our villages and cities were liberated from Armenian occupation. And the logical end of the Nagorno-Karabakh war came on November 9 with the regaining of Shusha city. You know, Shusha is a very important city in Nagorno-Karabakh, and this is a very holy city for Azerbaijani people. This is the center of Azerbaijani history, Azerbaijani culture, and has very strategic importance in a battlefield as well. So the brave Azerbaijani army cleared the city of Shusha of Armenian invaders, and after 27 years, the tricolor flag of Azerbaijan began to fly again in Shusha city. And so it was a very historic victory. It was a triumph of truth and justice. It was also the implementation of international law, in particular for resolutions of the UN Security Council. And as you know, in 1993 and in 1994, UN Security Council has adopted 4 resolutions on Nagorno-Karabakh conflict, and all these resolutions demanded immediately withdrawal of all external troops from occupied Azerbaijani lands and returning the Azerbaijani IDPs to these lands. Unfortunately, over the past 30 years, these resolutions has not been implemented, and only Azerbaijani army has implemented 2 of these 4 resolutions on battlefield.
Ahmed, I have a quick point here. As you know, we have been watching in 37 days, correct me if I'm wrong, the entire war has happened, and in 37 days, Azerbaijani army has claimed one of the most important historical victory in the humanity, because with the modern warfare, winning a war with a very mountainous area, and to your point, getting Shusha, if Azerbaijan wanted to continue, Azerbaijan could have taken the other places, because the hardest part is mountainous area. The other cities next to each other are 6-7 kilometers. But despite Armenia every time broke the ceasefire and sent missile bombs to civilian areas, Azerbaijan held its position, never attacked Armenia, always kept the war inside the area which has been occupied by. And I'm wondering, how did the last signature happen? What are the reasons Azerbaijan did not clear out? Because it was much easier. Azerbaijan already finished most of the area. Why did Azerbaijan again chose peace? Because the other ceasefires every time was broken by Armenia. That's why I'm saying, why did Azerbaijan again chose peace this time. And what will happen? What are the rules of this agreement? And what does it mean for the people in Nagorno-Karabakh?
Yes, very important question. And, Azerbaijan is a peaceful country. We are a Muslim Turkish country. We always stand for peace and prosperity in the region. And also, since September 27, there were three ceasefire agreements between Armenia and Azerbaijan. Two of them reached in Moscow, and one of them is reached in Washington. But always in all these three peaceful agreements, Armenia violated the ceasefire and fired on civilian villagers and civilian citizens of Azerbaijan. I want to remind the fire attacks on Ganja city, on Barda city, and Armenian armed forces fired these cities, these civilian settlements from the territory of Republic of Armenia. So always Armenia violated the ceasefire, and Azerbaijan has to respond to these provocations. And what about the Shusha city? It was after the regaining of Shusha that Armenia officially acknowledged its defeat finally and offered to start negotiations. And then on November 10, a trilateral agreement was signed between Armenia, Russia, and Azerbaijan, laying the foundation for long-term peace and coexistence in Nagorno-Karabakh. Before the Shusha city recapture of Shusha, Armenia continued to make provocations on front line and didn't admit its defeat. But Shusha, as I mentioned it before, is a very strategic point, and to have Shusha, you have the control over the Hankandi and other regions of Nagorno-Karabakh. Shusha is a very high mountain city located on the mountains, and if Azerbaijani army in Shusha, it means that Azerbaijan very easily can reach to Hankandi, to Kalbajar, to Lachin, and after regaining the Shusha, Armenia finally admit its defeat and forced to sign this agreement with Azerbaijan and via the Russia. So what about this agreement? What about your question about Azerbaijan can continue this fighting? Sure, we have enough resources, and our Azerbaijan army is very strong to continue this war until regaining all other territories. But if we are a peaceful country, and by mediation of the Russian Federation, we have agreed to continue our struggle on political arena. So this agreement is also means a victory of Azerbaijan, because according to this agreement, the Armenian army will withdraw from all occupied territories until December 1. Kalbajar, Agdam, and Lachin regions will be returned to Azerbaijan, and the Azerbaijani army will control these areas, and Armenians and Azerbaijanis will live together in other parts of Nagorno-Karabakh, and Russian peacekeepers will monitor the ceasefire in those areas.
That's my question. How will the ceasefire monitoring will actually work? I mean, how will the Russians and the Turkish forces be located in the region? As you all know, the Turkish parliament just passed a resolution after agreement between Russia and Turkey on November 11th. I'm wondering, how will the actual monitoring work and that 5-year term? I'm very curious about your opinion.
Yes, immediately after this agreement, 1,960 Russian soldiers are deployed in the region, especially in those areas that the war didn't reach. I mean Hankandi, Khojalı, Agdara, Askaran, and other regions where the Armenians and Azerbaijanis used to live before the first Nagorno-Karabakh war. So it means that Russian soldiers will be are deployed in this region to monitor the ceasefire, and from the first days, Azerbaijan side demanded Turkey to be involved in these negotiations. So this is one of the preconditions that Azerbaijan put to see a Turkish army, to locate the Turkish army in the region. So we have this condition, and after these negotiations, Turkish and Russian sides agreed about this issue, and in a couple of days, maybe Turkish army will be deployed in the region as well. So, according to this agreement, Russian army will be deployed, are already deployed in those areas where the Armenians and Azerbaijanis will live together. But about the location of Turkish army will be deployed in those areas that regained by the Azerbaijani army. And it is the issue between the Turkey and Azerbaijan, where in what city the Turkish army will be deployed. It can be Shusha, it can be Fizuli, it can be Jabrail, or wherever Azerbaijan wish to have Turkish army. But I think that Turkish army should be very close to Russian army. It's from the point of national interest of Azerbaijan to have guaranteed that tomorrow Russian army will not violate this agreement between Azerbaijan, Russia, and Armenia. So I think that the Turkish army should be maximum close to those points where the Russian army are deployed. So we will see in a couple of days where the Turkish army will be deployed. But it's our sovereign right to invite any soldiers, Turkish soldiers, to our territory. But according to this agreement between Russia, Azerbaijan, and Armenia, the IDPs from Azerbaijan will also return to these lands. I mean, to Hankandi, to Khojalı, to Eskaran, to Agdaran, to Agdara, and only Russian army will monitor the ceasefire and together living of Armenians and Azerbaijans. But the Turkish army will also be located in this area, but not on those villages, on those points where our Russians are located, but very close to these points. So another important part of this agreement between Russia, Armenia, and Azerbaijan is the establishment of land links between Nakhchivan Autonomous Republic and the main land of Azerbaijan. It's very important and strategically important issue for Azerbaijan. After that, Azerbaijani citizens will be able to easily cross the territory of Armenia to Nakhchivan, and from there to Turkey and to Europe. So I think that this agreement unequivocally means the victory of Azerbaijan and Azerbaijani people. That's why today the people of Azerbaijan celebrate this victory. Today, Azerbaijani refugees and IDPs are preparing to return to their homes, and the Azerbaijani state will carry out large-scale construction and landscaping work in these liberated territories, and life in those lands in Nagorno-Karabakh will be revived soon. And Azerbaijan will monitor the liberated territories and open a lawsuit for this damage. And this is also on our agenda, that Armenia will have to pay 50 billion in compensation, in financial compensation. So Armenia, on the other hand,
I mean,
had
in terms of, I know mothers who are holding the soil of Karabakh, protecting in their heart at their home in Ganja for more than 30 years. For them, they are getting back to their original home. So after 30 years, this victory is historical, but especially for more than 1 million people who were dislocated from their original places. There will be, I think, lots of work to rebuild, because as far as I know, as the Armenians withdraw, they are burning cities, they are burning even houses, unfortunately, or churches, religious places. So on one side, there will be a rebuilding that needs to be done in the region, helping these relocated people get back to their houses and then restart their life under a peaceful time. I'm very curious, when do you think the normalization will happen? I've seen pictures of President Ilham Aliyev and his wife in these beautiful areas that you shared on your social media. Thank you for that. And I want to understand from your view, when we look at the entire world media, I've seen an interview between BBC and Ilham Aliyev, where Ilham Aliyev really provided an amazing response back, because they're claiming as if there is no human rights inside Azerbaijan, there is no, free press and no internet users, and he responded very nicely. So there are still attempts to actually overcome the rightful, regaining of the occupation and clearing and getting back these lands. There are still image makers who are trying to change the media. So I want to get your opinion. How did the media around the world take the victory of Azerbaijan?
From the first day of the clashes in Nagorno-Karabakh, unfortunately the world media, almost a big part of the world media supported the aggression, Armenian aggression, and tried to show these clashes as Azerbaijan attacks Nagorno-Karabakh, civilian people in the region. So by this they tried to, to pressure to Azerbaijan to stop these military operations, and those world media channels, newspapers, internet websites, they never shown how Armenia fired on Ganja. They never show how Armenia attacks to Barda city, to civilians in Azerbaijan. I want to remind you that more than 91 civilians were killed during this firing on Ganja, Barda, and Tartar, and more than 400 people were wounded. And these worldwide televisions didn't show these pictures, and they tried to show the victory of Azerbaijan as violation of state border, invention of Azerbaijan, like this. But finally, Azerbaijan, the president of Azerbaijan, responded to all these televisions. All worldwide televisions sent their strongest journalists, strongest anchors to be to interview with president of Azerbaijan. But Azerbaijani President Ilham Aliyev responded to all difficult questions, all provocative questions of these televisions, and once again showed that Azerbaijan has the right, sovereign right to restore its territorial integrity and protect its internationally recognized state borders. And what about the human rights issues? Azerbaijan is newly independent country. We have get our independence in 1991. Sure, we may have some difficulties with elections, with human rights, democratic issues, but it doesn't mean that we cannot restore our territorial integrity. But anyway, the spaces, the problems with human rights in Azerbaijan is not so tragedy like BBC, CNN, and other international televisions talk about it.
As NTR, from the first day this started, and especially News Plus, we started educating our viewers, and we promised them to only bring the truth and only the truth. And we started first explaining the Khojaly genocide and how it happened. If the Azerbaijani and Turkish army were in Khojaly 30 years ago, that genocide would never happen. That's my personal opinion. And
those international organizations talking about how the so-called violation of human rights in Azerbaijan, they never touched the Kocaeli genocide in 1992, when Armenian soldiers in one night killed more than 600 innocent people, civilians, and they never allowed these people to leave their land and go to the main part of Azerbaijan. But today, our Armenian side asked for more 10 days more to leave Kalbajar, and Azerbaijan, as a peaceful country, again showed its humanity,
yes,
and allowed Armenian people to leave Kalbajar very peacefully, and allowed to liberate Kalbajar until 25th of November. But according to this agreement between Armenia, Russia, and Azerbaijan, Armenian side has to leave Kalbajar until 15th November. But they asked Azerbaijan to allow more 10 days. But anyway, Azerbaijan showed its humanity. But
absolutely.
what about in 1993, when Kalbajar was occupied? Armenian side allow only 9 or 10 hours to leave Kalbajar, and it was impossible. That's why a lot of our people were killed in Kalbajar during 1993. So this is the difference between Armenia and Azerbaijan. And you mentioned about the burning of the house in Kalbajar.
And even cutting trees. They're cutting trees,
cut the tree,
they're burning
burn their
everything.
homes. They try to take everything with them. So they understand that the Kalbajar doesn't belong to Armenians. These lands belong to Azerbaijanis, and they will never return these lands. That's why they try to destroy everything, to take everything with them to Armenia, to Yerevan. But anyway, Azerbaijan is a multicultural country. As President of Azerbaijan, Aliyev, said that those Armenians who used to live in Nagorno-Karabakh before 90s, they can return to these lands and live together with Azerbaijanis, and they will have equal rights with the other people, other ethnics living in Azerbaijan. Azerbaijan is peaceful and multicultural country. We have more than 40 nationalities living in Azerbaijan. We have also 40,000 Armenians living in Azerbaijan, in Baku, in Ganja, and in different cities of Azerbaijan. We have Armenian church in Baku city center. We have Armenian people living in Azerbaijan. So we haven't any problem with Armenian nation, with Armenian nationality. We have problem with Armenian authorities, military leading people, military authorities that occupied Azerbaijan lands more than 30 years, and we are trying to liberate our lands, and we have done it already, and we wish to restore the national and state borders of Azerbaijan. We have done it already, and we demand to implement the UN Security Council resolutions, and we have done it already.
Ahmed, I want to get your opinion on what will happen to Nikol Pashinyan and his sponsors right now. You know, I'm sure the sponsors of Nikol Pashinyan are kind of upset. And what do you think will happen next inside Armenia?
Armenia had to come to terms with historical realities and finally conceded its defeat. And the civil conflict and chaos in Armenia today prove it once again. And today Armenians are protesting against Prime Minister Nikol Pashinyan, and because more than 15,000 Armenian soldiers were killed on the front line. And I think Armenia should have taken a wise step in time to get rid of these tragedies. It is impossible to develop and gain a place in the world by occupying the lands of its neighbors, and because the world community sees everything and understands it well. I hope that from now on Armenia will respect international law and pursue a policy of kindness with its neighbors. There is no other way to achieve peace in the region. And now protests, we see the daily protest actions in Yerevan, the people protesting against the Armenians' defeat in Nagorno-Karabakh, and they demand Nikol Pashinyan to resign. And we see a lot of resigns in Armenian government. Minister of Foreign Affairs Natsakanyan has resigned already. The other high-level officials or resigned or taken off, removed from their positions, and Armenia now is in a very bad situation. There is chaos and civil war in Armenia, so between the political parties, and Armenia face to face with chaos because it's defeats in Nagorno-Karabakh. And I think that if Nikol Pashinyan
very bad in Armenia. And when you look at it, after this 30 years of occupation and regaining these areas, do you think this peace will be sustainable, Ahmed? Do you think, because there are 5-year terms, from your opinion, your personal opinion, do you think this peace is sustainable? And how can we make sure this region, after all these wars, we want peace for everyone in this region? So do you think what we should do to make this area sustainable?
I hope that this agreement between Armenia, Russia, and Azerbaijan will stand for a long time, and we wish it. But everything depends on Armenia. We heard some provocative calls from different Armenian politicians to violate this agreement and to continue the war. But Azerbaijan is also ready for any conclusion, for any picture on Nagorno-Karabakh. But anyway, I think the Russian peacekeepers will do their best to monitor the ceasefire between the conflicting sides. And also we have another guarantee, and one of the main guarantee I want to mention, the Turkish role in the region, because we can say that Turkey has been actively supporting Azerbaijan since the beginning of these military operations and has been with Azerbaijan in all its decisions. And today the deployment of the Turkish army in the region is on the agenda along with the Russian army. The Turkish armed forces will monitor the peace and ceasefire in Nagorno-Karabakh, and this is very important for us, for Azerbaijan. And Azerbaijan has put forward these conditions from the first days, and this issue is already being resolved, I think. And to have long-standing peace and ceasefire in the region, Turkey will play a very significant role as well, and Azerbaijan's side also respect this agreement, the requirements of this agreement. So I think that everything will depend on Armenia, how the Nikol Pashinyan government or the next authorities after Nikol Pashinyan who will come to the power, how will they respect this agreement. But anyway, the responsibility will lie on Armenia. And I think Russia and Turkey will monitor together, the ceasefire agreement. But anyway, Azerbaijan is ready for any development of this process in the region. If it will be the next stage of war, we will continue to liberate the another lands, I mean Khankendi, Khojalı, Agdara. So if the situation will be in this direction, and it will be important to launch new military operations, the Armenia will meet more tragic situations. So it means that I hope that Armenian side will not risk to violate the requirements of this peace agreement, of this ceasefire agreement.
I mean, we want peace for the region, and we are just wondering how will the Armenia-Azerbaijan relations will be in the future, because this region is very important, not just for Azerbaijan or Armenia. It's important for Russia, it's important for China, it's important for Turkey, it's important for United States, even the regional powers, because there are many strategic areas in this area. So even though this is a fight against an occupation, that's why even United States and other big players did not oppose to the development. Do you agree with that?
This region is very important, not only for Azerbaijan, for Armenia, for South Caucasus. It's very strategic area for Europe, for United States, for China as well. If to look to the details of this agreement between the Armenia, Russia, and Azerbaijan, there are a lot of humanitarian aspects in this agreement about transportation, about the future development of this region. If Armenia will respect this agreement, in the near future, Armenia will go further with its development, and all international projects, I mean pipelines and other very strategic projects can go across the Armenia that can be lead the development of this country as well, and we will achieve more significant outcomes in economic arena and in the another kind of developments. So I think that U.S., European countries, China, all these countries, all international community should be interested to have peace in the region. So the happy future of the Nagorno-Karabakh, the happy future of this region is the main reason of stability of the economic and political stability in Europe, in United States, because all the projects, international projects from China to Europe goes across Azerbaijan, from South Caucasus, that all these projects can be done across the Armenia as well, and it will positively affect the economy of Armenia, to future of Armenian people as well. So not only Armenia and Azerbaijan should think about peace and prosperity in the region. All international communities should think about it and do their best to keep this long-standing peace and prosperity in Nagorno-Karabakh.
Dear Ahmed, as NTR TV, we really care about strong nations respecting each other, fully independent, and doing the best work for humanity in technology, in finance, in economy, in trade. So I want to get your opinion, because we have more than 900 million viewers and more than 40 countries watching you right now live through NTR. And NTR is the only TV from Turkey broadcasting to Africa to more than 900 million viewers. And with Turksat's new launch, we will be broadcasting to entire Africa. And since the beginning of this conflict, we carefully monitored the situation on the ground and really try to bring the truth to our viewers and try to bring, maybe we are one of the only TV channels telling the truth to our African brothers and sisters. I want to get your final opinion about NTR TV, as well as your final messages to our viewers in Africa, because Azerbaijan is important for Africa, and Africa is important for Azerbaijan.
Yes, thank you. I especially thanks to all people working in NTR TV, because this is very important tribune for us to deliver, to convey our message to African people, to all countries in Africa. Also, Africa is very important land for Azerbaijan as well. We have very good mutual relations with different African countries, and we are a lot of African students in studying in Azerbaijan, living here. We have as well our interest in African countries as well, but unfortunately Azerbaijan has not so strong tribune as NTR TV as you. But anyway, your tribune, your television is also another chance for us to convey the realities, to deliver the truth of Azerbaijan to African people, to have mutual exchange of views with our African brothers. And also Azerbaijan is ready to be involved in development in all future processes going on African countries. So thanks to NTR TV that does this very strong and important work in Africa, and I always watch your television online on YouTube and on another social networks, online platforms. You do very huge work, and I wish you to continue this work and to strengthen the relations between Azerbaijan and Turkey with African countries. And I'm very happy to be interviewed on NTR TV, and hope we will continue our cooperation, not regarding the Azerbaijani issues. We can cooperate in problems of African people, the issues that Africa involved in African countries as well. So I wish you best in your this very important activity.
Ahmad Shahidov, I want to thank you as well. You are a really, role model in terms of how a person can defend human rights. And I want to thank you on behalf of NTR TV.
Thank you so much.
Your organization is doing a very important job. We would love to host you one day in Ankara, and we would love to come and visit in Baku and maybe have a trip together in Africa in the future.
Inshallah, inshallah.
Thank you very much for your time. I want to thank you on behalf of NTR TV, and looking forward to staying tuned with you in the future as well. Ladies and gentlemen, we are ending the Azerbaijan situation part and Nagorno-Karabakh part. Stay tuned to NTR TV. We'll be joining back and connecting to United States about the most recent elections in United States. Take care and all the best. Stay tuned to NTR TV. Bye.